Nigel Farage should face highest penalty over undeclared gifts from Arron Banks, says EU committee. The gifts are said to have included access to a chauffeur-driven car, rent and bills on a £4.4 million home in Chelsea and trips to the United States to meet with right-wing politicians.
Here's a summary of the article.
The EU Parliament's disciplinary body has recommended that Nigel Farage faces the highest penalty for a serious breach of its code of conduct, a leaked letter suggests. The recommendation from the European Parliament's Advisory Committee on the Conduct of Members, revealed by Channel 4 News, also suggests referring the Brexit Party leader to the European Anti-Fraud Office for further investigation over claims about the sources of funding for his lifestyle. In the letter, sent to the Parliament's President Antonio Tajani, the Disciplinary Committee says the Parliament's authorities should liaise and cooperate with the UK national investigatory authorities, including the National Crime Agency, the Electoral Commission and the Metropolitan Police, in order for the full facts to be established. The Independent revealed in May that Mr Farage was to be put under investigation by the Parliament over claims he failed to declare £450,000 in gifts from Arron Banks, who himself is under investigation by the National Crime Agency. A spokesperson for the EFFD group said, Mr Farage has received no such letter from the MEP Conduct Committee as of today. The Conduct Committee letter was leaked to C4 before their letter was received by Nigel. This is incredible, especially given that Mr Farage raised the issue of confidentiality with Conduct Committee in first instance. C4 asked Mr Farage for comment only a few hours before the hit job was broadcast on the same day, quite an unjust farce. So the kangaroo court of the European Parliament utilises trial by media, and no evidence needed.
This post received a score of 5,435, with an upvote ratio of 93%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Is that the same chauffeur-driven car that got into a head-on crash with another car, the scene of which Nigel Farage promptly fled and then explained he left without saying a word because the other driver, whose kid was in the car, was abusive and I didn't hear his child screaming?
Thank you. I had to look this up. In the times we live in, I guess it shouldn't come as any surprise that this happened. In an interesting twist of fate, the driver of the other car happens to own a pub that Farage frequents a few blocks from his home, which the guy bans him from following the incident. A small reminder of what an arsehole he is every time he feels thirsty for a pint.
Greater than a small reminder of what an arsehole he is every time he feels thirsty for a pint. That is a beautiful thing.
I really don't think Nigel Farage gives a shit what people think of him, or else he wouldn't be Nigel Farage.
I think he feels personally offended that normal people do not bow down and worship him every time he glomps up the road. Very rich people he sucks up to for trinkets. If you meant he's immune to shame and remorse no matter how much sensible people revile him, then I agree wholeheartedly.
No, they don't bow down and worship him, but I live in a very working class area and know lots of people within that class. Normal people are very pleased with him and vote for the Brexit Party. I don't even support him, but I understand his appeal to him. I guess it's just where you live, since the working class people around me adore him, lol.
The right, these demonstrators are clearly being funded by some shadowy billionaire rather than acting out their own beliefs. Also the right, you'll pay for me to go and network with like-minded politicians so we can align our strategies and message in a totally conspiratorial manner? Cool, thanks.
Reminder: the 9 sitting U.S. Republican senators spent last 4th of July in Moscow meeting Putin for unclear reasons.
That's such a power play by Putin having them there on the 4th of July.
Despite him being the enemy, I respect his style.
I will give the man credit, he knows how to send a message.
The good old right-wing network.
Nationalists without borders.
International nationalists.
Greater than it's a purely private matter, non-political in absolutely every way. I wonder if he'll end up trying to use that as a defense in court? People will still vote for this man.
Not only that, but he will also talk himself out of paying any penalty like he always does. Good old traitorous fuck, and yet will still get airtime despite being a non-entity. He doesn't even have a seat in Parliament.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.